Lysander, as you reach down and cast Detect Magic on this smoking bit of earth, you detect a sort of ancient power that you have felt but once before. And in your mind's eye, you see flashes of fire and anger and regrets. And you hear a faint but thunderous roar in your mind before you return to the forest with your new friends.
I go chase after Lysander and walk next to Lysander and said, "What did you see when you looked at the fire?"
Why do you want to know? What is it to you? I mean, you're metal. You're made of bolts and screws, and you have a strange voice that just will not go up or down or fluctuate, and it pisses me off a little bit. And he strengthens his coat again, and he goes, "Look, this sort of stuff, it doesn't interest you. You go and you protect the town, and you keep those people safe. But stay away from this mess."
You can see me hesitate, and then you hear my voice go from this like monotone, even voice to a much higher, like, "Is this a better voice for you? Is this okay? If not, I can go back."
Technically, it's not morally wrong it's not legally wrong to look through personal things. I am tired of people keeping things from me. And she's gonna look around the shop, and she's gonna turn to Rudy and go, "You wanna search the place?"
What instrument did Lysander play?
He had a lute that was far too big that he carried around anyway. It is gold, embroidered, and it has painted flowers all along the base of it, with strings that have been plucked and prodded, but it's quite dusty.
From underneath Lysander's cot, you pull this lute, taking in all of these details. And as you turn it over, you find an engraving that says, "To Lysander, may the notes you pluck bring as much joy as you alone do into this world." And it's signed from Levi.
I'm gonna figure out whatever the heck is going on inside that thing.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go officially close up shop, and I'll just come right back. If you need a hand, I'll be there.
Listen, Lysander's new in town. He's not used to being forgotten. So, I hope you don't forget us anytime soon, but it won't be the last time.
Goodbye, Felicity.
As you let this journal fall open, it, as if caught in a gust of wind, flips to a specific page, and you see runes in a language you do not understand slowly scratch themselves out, as if being traced by a fine line of fire. Tao loves me smutim, hafai shish taus. Hello, and welcome back to Performance Check. My name is Ethan Mann, and I am your Dungeon Master. I have 4 wonderful players here with me today, who I guess I'll let introduce themselves. Say hi, wonderful players.
Hi, wonderful players.
Hi, wonderful players.
Claudia, oh, you're coughing. Jimmy, let's start with you. Editor, keep that in, please. Jimmy, let's start with you.
Keep that in, editor.
Who are you playing, and what is their favorite genre of music? And who are you, too? I guess we can say that.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Lancaster. I'll be playing CK373, and hers favorite genre of music would have to be ambient noise.
So true.
Moody and mysterious. Rudy, you're next.
Hey, Evan Marshall here, playing Rudy Quickfoot. Rudy's favorite genre of music. I'm kind of torn between 90s rock and classic rock. Not sure which one, but he's training hard to one or both of those two.
Amazing. Michael.
Hi, I am
Michael Siliski. I play Felicity, or Detective Andrews. And Felicity's favorite genre of music would definitely be lo-fi hip-hop radio, beats to relax / study to, because she doesn't have time for anything else.
Amazing. And last but certainly not least, we're going to end where we started. Claudia.
A girl coughs one time, man. My name is Claudia. I am playing Lysander. And Lysander's favorite type of music would definitely be classical. Vivaldi Summer, I feel like he would be tinkering away to that. Absolutely.
Incredible. We pick back up with our story the same evening where we left it. The party had split apart in a hopefully strategic way to try and move forward with getting CK to be a bit more cooperative against their programming. Felicity had volunteered to be taken home by CK to get them out of Lysander's shop so that CK would stop trying to reacquire the bundle of sparkly things, bits and bobs, that they had recovered from the forest where they had fought a group of mimics and a swarm of insectoid creatures. Rudy had run off to the dojo to retrieve some things, and Lysander stayed to hold down the fort at his shop. While alone, Lysander's book, caught in an unfelt gust of wind, blew open and started to spit out this metric chanting in tongues unknown to Lysander. This text almost seems to burn itself into the pages as you watch Lysander, and as that fire fades away, you hear the tinkle of a bell as Rudy re-enters the shop, back from his dojo.
Where Lysander's book would be by his cot is tucked away in a corner of his shop. So, hearing the bell, Lysander immediately snaps out of whatever state he was in. A little bit of fear, a little bit of hope. He shoves the book underneath his pillow, and he runs over to see who has entered his shop.
Rudy will just walk back in. He just locked up the dojo, and just walks out to meet wherever Lysander's at. Would you be in your office, or are you kind of just at the front lobby entrance of the store?
You would see him peeking out. Actually, you'd probably see his full body through a little bit of a hallway as he peeks around and sees you enter. The main workspace is what you'd be kind of entering into.
Do you want me to lock this behind? Or...
Yeah, and he kind of shakes his head to get rid of all these feelings, and yeah, go ahead, if you just twist, and he walks down the hallway to meet you.
Gotcha. I'll lock it behind me. Okay, everything's back in order. Now we just wait for CK to return. Do we have a plan? How are we doing this?
Before he returns, I have to figure out some sort of mechanic, and he starts kind of tinkering and looking through all of his bits and bobs and his machinery, and he takes out a couple of things, some things that he kind of familiarizes with what he saw inside of the stomach opening of CK, some tools, and he kind of spreads it all out on his main workspace, this big desk. He looks at Rudy and is like, I know that something isn't quite right. Something's in there that needs to be let out, but I don't know how to let something out that's been locked away if I don't have access to it. And he starts kind of pulling out some tools and bits and bobs, and he goes, have you ever tinkered mechanically before? Have you ever had any sort of experience like this?
Not a whole ton. I mean, probably a little bit here and there, but I can't say I've tinkered on a CK. If I had to think. Now, I'm not saying this is a plan, just an idea, just an observation. And again, not even sure if this works. Does that key on CK's back actually control movement? like, is there a mechanic behind that we could use to kind of settle CK down when they come in? I don't know if there's an off switch on a robot.
Yeah, Ethan, magical DM Lord, would Lysander have any sort of knowledge about this key in the back? Did he see anything when he opened up the stomach? Would he be connected with that in any way with his artificer background?
We're going to call this an insight check, and I'm going to give you advantage.
Am I remembering all of what I saw inside? Or am I just thinking back to just for my own knowledge? Am I just thinking back to what I know as an artificer?
This is, you start like combing through the information that you gathered as you were looking at the innards of CK's workings, combined with your general artificing knowledge, combined with the little bit that you have gained from just observation of the CKs over the time that you have spent observing them.
Cool. All right, rolling. With advantage, thank God, because that was a 10. Oh, yeah, baby! 19 plus 4 for 23.
Lysander, you know that every morning before they are sent out, the CKs are wound, for want of a better term. It is unknown to you how long a CK can run on a single winding, but you know that it is done every morning as, at the very least, a precaution in the case that a CK may not be able to return to Castle Kräthe at the end of every night. You have never seen a CK with their key removed, but with the poking around that you did before our CK left, you have the feeling it may be possible.
Interesting. Lysander, after looking back through this, immediately goes into a drawer in his table and pulls out a blank sheet of parchment, puts it down, and starts remembering what he saw and writing down this information, almost like a blueprint of what the inside of the typical CK or what he saw, so that he can kind of recreate it in his own way.
As you are going through this, through making this schematic and strategizing with Rudy about the best way to approach this, you glance over at a magical sundial that you have leaned against one of the shelves that seems to cast a shadow without any light source, and you watch as it melts away the time into the night. You know how long it would take to get Felicity back to the orphanage and to return to your shop, and much more time than would be needed has passed. And still the door to your shop remains determinedly closed.
Does Lysander think that, first off, the schematic is pretty accurate to what he saw?
You're pretty confident that it is relatively accurate, yes.
I think we might have missed our chance with them being fully conscious and aware of what has happened this previous day. I don't think they're coming back tonight, but we do have this. I don't know what we do with it, but I can't just stand by and let someone be locked away and not do something about it. So maybe this goes in the back pocket and hopefully we see him again, but I don't want to keep you here any longer than you have been.
How are we even going to get back in contact with that specific CK? Will they return tomorrow? I mean, I don't believe they'd even leave unless their, duty was fulfilled, which it wasn't. They were supposed to come back to do that.
They were also supposed to bring back the gold, which I have.
Exactly. And that hasn't been done. So they'll either come back tomorrow to finish that task, or someone else will. To be entirely frank with you, I didn't even expect them to leave without finishing the job.
That's what shocked me. And Lysander kind of like ruffles his hair a little bit, and he's like, something fishy's going on, but I do also have to recognize that it's not your mission. I dragged you into this. So I would love for you to stay and help, but I know you have a business. I don't do anything with mine. So I understand if you want to back out and just continue your merry little life down in Maple Morrow.
Lysander, I have been waiting patiently for something interesting to finally happen around this dusty little town, and it looks like I have finally found what I've been looking for. I'll tell you right now, I am not a singular owner. I have a co-owner. That's the word I'll use. I have a co-owner who can hold down the fort just as well as I can. I'm pretty sure he won't mind taking an extra shift or two. This is something that we need to get to the bottom of, and something that I want to get to the bottom of as well. Tell you what, DM, what time do the CKs typically return, like to patrolling? Do they have like a time where they emerge from the castle?
They are typically in the town from dawn to dusk, unless there is a mission or a directive that overrides that. For example, 373 staying in pursuit of the lost items, stolen items, rather than returning at sundown. Oftentimes, what they refer to as dawn is when the sun first peaks over the mountains that Castle Kräthe is nestled next to.
Jargatar is more than capable of holding down the fort while I'm away. I will return just before dawn, if that is all right with you. Whether you leave a key behind, leave the door opened, leave a window cracked, whatever works. I'll make my way in here. We'll presume that 373 is going to return to finish the job, and then we'll continue with this tomorrow. What is our plan for that? If let's say 373 came in the door today, what were we gonna do? How were we gonna tinker here?
Lysander looks through his bits and bobs, and DM, does he see anything that could possibly help in this situation that he's built before?
In other words, DM, will you will an artificer infusion into existence?
DM, do you have a net gun somewhere that we could borrow?
Listen, Lysander's been building a long time. Who's to say? And he hasn't sold a lick of his goods.
Here's what I will say, Lysander. You suspect that removing the key of a CK would likely require some significant strength and perhaps leverage.
Oh. Sorry, Claudia dumb. You told me that like 20 minutes ago. Okay. So Lysander, looking back at his schematic, will kind of get a light bulb moment and turn to Rudy and say, the key is the key. And he'll grab the schematic and push it to Rudy and say, if we get CK here and we get that key out from his back, it should keep them here and not allow them to leave. Theoretically, it should keep them here and not allow them to leave.
And theoretically, of course, how much strength is required to remove a key from a CK's back? I can't imagine it's easy.
I will say, I am a little nimble fairy. I can't do much, but with enough leverage, we should be able to pop that key out.
Any ideas? Or are we just winging this?
Let's, and he grabs a couple of things, a long bar and some sort of like cup-shaped thing. He might even chisel one with some wood. I don't know how you want to do this with checks, but it almost he was building kind of what looks like a gigantic, you know those things that you use to put your shoes on? Like if you're a little nimble
A shoehorn?
fairy? Yeah. He's building one of those and to really pop it in and then pry it out.
Make me a dexterity check with your wood carver's tools, please.
Okie dokie.
So that's going to be a d20 plus your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency modifier.
All right. Okay, so a 12?
With a 12, this tool comes out decently well for you. Well enough. You carve away here, whittling away the hours of the night as you do so. This will give you a +1 on checks made with it.
Okay.
Going forward. Rudy, while Lysander works, are you staying at his shop, or are you going to go back to the dojo?
I'm going to go back to the dojo, but I got one more question. So, granted, typically the way that it's worked is around, I'm going to assume 8 o'clock is when Felicity would bound out of the orphanage to wherever it is that she's supposed to be. You think she'll be back here around that time, Lysander?
If I had to bet my entire shop, I would bet it.
I kind of imagine the same thing. And we're assuming CK is going to get here sooner. We want her help on this, right?
He's going to roll his eyes a little bit, but Lysander will sigh and say, for as much crap as I give that girl, we probably will need her help. She's smart. I'll give her that much.
And she has a lot of experience around the CKs. Well, then I suppose that settles it. I'll be back here right before dawn. We'll address CK, and then we'll get to work when Felicity gets here.
I'll leave the back window open.
Perfect. Preferred entrance anyways. I'll leave you to it. I have a closet to get to. And he'll give a little salute and kind of just start walking out the door.
Lysander gives a salute back.
And he'll shut the door behind him.
With the click of the door closing behind Rudy, we are going to cut over to the home down the river for misplaced children. Felicity, as you walked in, Lolador futzed over the fact that you were a mess. You were injured very clearly. She helped clean you up and then sent you off to bed. Is there anything that you would like to do before you turn in for the night?
Well, I know I had my conversation with Isla, and Isla's gonna go get some people who are members of, like, a cult. Not really a cult, but, like, demon worshippers or something, to get some info. So, with that taken care of, I think, she's just gonna... Because enough time has passed, CK's walked down the street. She didn't see him walk off. Or in the wrong way. So, I guess she's probably, just gonna go get to bed early. Set her alarm so that way she's, once again, leaving right as Isla's coming in so she can share information and get information, and then charge straight to Lysander's shop.
You get yourself changed for bed and start to tuck yourself in, trying to keep a little bit of the noise down as most of the rest of the orphanage has already gone to sleep for the evening. And as you curl up in bed, Herky hops up next to you and curls up in a ball with his back against you.
She'll give him a little pat as she passes out. Like, big day tomorrow, Herky. New case.
As you fade off into sleep, your mind dancing with the possibilities of future clues to collect. Rudy, you open the door to your training dojo and see that the lights have been extinguished, the mats neatly stacked against the wall. Chargatar has gone home for the evening. Is there anything that you would like to do before you go to bed?
I wouldn't say I'm too shocked by this. Closed up a while ago anyways. I'll kind of come in, shut the door, lock it behind me. As I walk into the lobby, I'm going to take a quick peek over at the strongbox again. Just a quick little glance, make sure, everything is still together.
Roll me a perception check.
I'm assuming Jargatar has been using it since I left. So I'm gonna check and make sure whatever he gained is still in there. You said perception check. That's a that is a 18.
You notice that the strongbox is standing open, and there is a little note inside in Jargatar's rough handwriting that just says, "Box broken, gold in storage closet."
All right. Then I'll go ahead and I'll take the note and toss it out as I make my way off to the closet.
So you open up your closet and see your sleeping mat, still where maybe some of the blankets have been displaced from where you and the party earlier had moved them around to get to your flask, which is now empty after your sharing with the party. You fluff your pillow, curl up on the mat, and allow sleep to take you as you drift off. The crickets have come alive in Maple Morrow, singing their song across the quiet treetops that rustle with the slight breeze, their auburn and red leaves rubbing against each other gently in the breeze. And we will zoom through a window and down into a room deep inside Castle Kräthe on the north side of the river, where the small man with the green cloak made of pockets pores over a CK unit. He, with tools much more sophisticated than those operated by Lysander on the other side of the river, tinkers away at these open hatches inside of CK, and there's a faint glow that lights his face from underneath. It almost seems to be pulsating, different colors. Moments of blue, moments of pink, moments of purple, moments of gold. There doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason to it, but it almost seems to thrum with a bit of the pulse of life. Atticus snaps these hatches shut and says, I think that will do it. Now, a couple of important things to specify before you go back out. Can you give me your designation number?
373.
Very good, very good. And he reaches into your head, CK, and you feel as if something is scratching against the inside of the top of your skull, and you feel a little click. Now, you might get asked, tomorrow if you had been wiped, and you are going to, if you get asked, you are going to have to give the honest answer, because it's going to be from someone like Chimere, so we cannot hide that. You have not been, so you are going to say that if that you were not, and that it's because your mission is not complete, and if they have any other questions to come talk to me. Can you repeat that back?
I am to say I am not wiped, and if they have any questions, to come talk to you. My mission is not over.
Good. Very good. We have some experimenting to do, you and me. Yes, we have some experimenting to do. That is all for the night. Unit, thank you. Can you confirm that your additions are operating properly?
Let me try. And CK kind of like gets up from the table and moves off, and the first thing that they're going to do is kind of throw out their arm, and instead of flicking out from the arm like a bully club, it is going to full on slice out into the distance of a longsword, and then they're going to grab the longsword and like take a couple of practice swings with it. They are then going to click their left arm, and instead of just having like a metal plate that was there that kind of like helps deflect blows, it is going to pop out and circle out full on shield, and then they're going to slide back in the sword. They're going to hit their right chest, and out from the back is going to pop a javelin, and they're going to catch it in the middle of the air and throw it towards the wall. And then they're going to kind of tap their left thigh, and the drone has now kind of sort of integrated into the body and then can pop out when they want the drone to. And then the last upgrade, he's going to feel their back, and they're going to see that they have a new part of their body that kind of covers up the key.
Atticus watches you go through all of this testing, and with each successful implementation, nods his head in a very excited way. Very, very good. I think that this will help you a lot with the things it seems you are going to come up against. You know what he always says, the future lies in the past, and you must be ready to face that future, whatever it brings. I think that we're done for tonight. Good luck tomorrow. And he's
Can
going
I
to
ask you a question?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Why the new upgrades?
Well,
They do not seem complementary to my directive.
To your directive. Well, your directive is to protect the town, and it seems that you were not as well equipped for that as you should have been, considering what happened tonight. So I'm simply trying to make sure you are prepared for what you might come up against.
What do you know of what happened tonight?
He pulls out a crystal from one of the many pockets in his cloak, and sets it on the table that you just stood up from, and says, well, I don't watch everything. I only have so much time in the day, but I get an alert from the crystal when anything happens to any of you. So I saw this, and he pulls back up, you taking as much damage as you did during your fight in the woods, in the forest. And that made me realize that you needed some enhancements.
Thank you. I need to go to bed. Have a nice day, Atticus. And then they stand up and kind of shuffle along out of the room.
As you leave the room, you return to your docking station. You open a sliding door in one of the walls, and you hear the scrape of stone against stone as this wall recedes long enough for you to walk through. And you come to a room with the rest of your dispatchment all in sentry mode. And you hear the gentle grind of wood turning as you step forward and pull a switch so that the large 30-foot wheel in front of you stops turning that all of these CKs are locked into. You step into an open spot and feel the click of your key into this wheel, and then the lever releases so that you start to turn up into the air and then back down again, and then back up into the air and back down again, in such a way that the momentum of the turning turns your key, as if the winding of a watch. Until the sun rises the next morning, and the crow of a rooster lets Maple Morrow know that the next day has come. Felicity, once again, you hear the ringing of a bell through this makeshift PA system, and Lolador calling out, breakfast will be ready in 5 minutes in the kitchen. Whoever's welcome to come get it that they want. We're having porridge again, so it's there if you want it.
Porridge! Woo! Felicity thinks half-heartedly as she stumbles awake and immediately throws on her outfit, dons her detective hat, throws her bag on, tells Herky to climb on her shoulder, and dashes down the stairs, skids as she turns and runs straight into the kitchen. This time she is just grabbing a bowl and helping herself, even though it's technically not time yet, as she's like, gotta go, I have so much to do today.
Incredible. Same as the morning previous, there are berry bowls set out again. You are pretty much the only person in this kitchen as Lolador is finishing up these preparations, and you just see every couple of minutes like one person drift through the lobby. It's very clearly a day that everybody is trying to stay asleep as long as possible, despite the ringing of this wake-up call. Lolador goes to pick up the big paddle that she uses to get the bread out of the oven, and looks at you scarfing down your food. Off on another adventure, are we today, Felicity?
Mm-hmm. Isla's got a lead for me, and then I need to go help. A convict promised to help me.
Convict? Promised to help you?
Mm-hmm. A serial loiterer. Multiple counts of chicanery, tomfoolery.
Well, tell Lysander I say hi, don't you?
All right. We can't be too nice, though. We gotta keep things professional.
Oh, no, of course. We're being nothing but professional. Just try to be safe out there, okay? And she starts fussing with a couple of the bandages she put on you last night.
Felicity continues to eat. The bandages will happen. She's not pulling away or anything, but she's not letting it stop her from eating at Mach speed.
Brilliant. Lolador just sort of finishes getting that all situated for you, grabs a paddle again and pulls out these fresh rye rolls out of the oven this morning and slides a couple of them into your bag and says, one of these days you're going to have to write those adventures down so that the rest of us can hear about them, all right?
Aye, Captain. And she'll give Lolador a salute and turn, and before she barrels off, looks back and goes, is Isla back yet?
She pulls a pocket watch out of one of the pockets of the apron that she is wearing. It looks like she should be back here in just about 3 minutes or so.
All right, I'll meet her on the road. And she takes off and exits the orphanage to meet Isla on the road as she heads towards Lysander's.
As you go to take off, you hear just a little bit of a heavy sigh come from Lolador behind you, but you don't have time to really stop and think about that. You're taking off, you throw the door open, and boom, slam right into Isla. There is a poof of soot that fills the air for just a moment as you run headlong into her, and she goes, What? Oh, Felicity, Are you going out for the day already?
Yep, I told you I have a case to solve. Did you manage to get me any cultists?
I don't know that I would call them that to their face, but they said they would meet you tomorrow on the day off. That's their day on the rotation cycle. So tomorrow they typically hang out in the pub up in Old Town, but I cannot tell you to go in there.
Right, you will not tell me to go in there, but they'll happen to be there, Felicity says, and gives a huge wink before, as she dusts off Isla and dusts off herself.
Just don't get me in trouble this time, okay?
Hey, if I don't buy any alcohol, it's not illegal for me to sit in a place of business. That's all I'm saying.
All right, well, you be careful out there as she continues to brush this black soot off of you that she got on you from you running into her. Be careful, all right?
I always try to be, she says, and as she does so, the bandages on her arms kind of show off, and she gives another salute, and charges out towards Lysander's.
Wait, what the? You have to tell me about those tonight.
I will. It was a box with teeth and flying coin beetles.
And as you take off, we are going to cut over to Rudy. Rudy, the sun illuminates the dust that's floating around the closet that you're sleeping in as it starts to filter in through the window and falls across your face and wakes you up.
Rudy's eyelids will flutter a little bit, and at the sight of, oh god, the sun is up, he's going to kind of just immediately just jump up out of bed, throw the blanket off him, and just kind of start speed walking his way to the door.
As you start speed walking your way to the door, you see, coming from one of the storage closets where some of the punching bags are stored overnight, a very tall, almost like auburn red-haired and bearded minotaur with blood red eyes and a nose ring come out carrying some of these bags. And Jargatar says to you, "Oh, Rudy, I didn't realize you were still here, or had gotten here already. Sorry, did I wake you up?"
Yes. I hate to do this again. I have to go. Listen, I promise I'm not just disappearing because it's fun. Are you free this evening?
I guess so. Where are you going? We're supposed to have group class this morning.
Yep, we were. But I have something else happening. I promise. Just be here this evening. I'll explain everything. It'll all make sense. I swear I'm not just blowing you off. I have to get going. And he has not stopped walking as he is saying all this. Still walking towards the door.
Okay, fine. I'll cover it again. I have something I need to talk to you about tonight as well, actually. So, meet here?
Yep, meet here. Everything we make today, it's yours. You got it. I'll be back. And I'm already shutting the door behind me.
As you shut the door behind you, you see, about a block away, Felicity beelining her way, I assume, towards Lysander's shop. And you see, to your right, so that you are between them and Lysander's shop, CK, seeming fresh and repolished, marching their way towards the shop.
Oh god, they're almost here. Can Felicity see me? Can they both see me? Like, are they both in the same road? Or, like, what's their positioning again here?
You are glimpsing CK basically, like, through some buildings. So they're about, like, a block, like, away towards the bridge, and then a block north of you. Felicity is also one street south of you, but there are not nearly as many buildings blocking you and her.
So me and Felicity are both closer.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna try to, as I'm making my way, shutting the door behind me, I immediately turn around, see Felicity. I'm just gonna start hopping up and down and waving my hands, trying to get her attention.
Roll me a perception check, Felicity.
Oh, you better believe I will. That's an 8.
Felicity, you are scribbling away in your notebook while you walk. You are completely absorbed in the clues that you have to put together already and working your way through theories to fit those facts.
I like to think it's a little ironic. She's like scribbling away, power walking, like dodging cracks and weeds in the grass like perfectly just because she's walked these streets so often. Does not see Rudy jumping up and down like a maniac though.
Great. Okay, so the way things currently are, above table here, again, if nothing were to change and I were to just go to Felicity's or Lysander's right now, the order of arrival would be me, Felicity, CK, or me, CK, Felicity.
Might depend on how fast you hop.
Oh no. Okay. Rudy is just dashing, and I am going to. I remember that window's open, so I'm just full scale sprinting down the street, and then once I reach the window, I am diving through the hopefully already opened window.
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh god, I hope this window's open. Dexterity saving throw. That is a 22.
We're going to resolve that in a moment. Meanwhile, Lysander, where were you sleeping last night?
Lysander has not kind of let himself rest. He was working at his workbench and has kind of fallen asleep to his own dismay on the workbench, sprawled out with some tools in hand, and his book that he was kind of going between building the invention and then looking at his book and kind of just staring at it, hoping for a response. Building, staring.
With this book sitting open, as you sort of start to groggily come to with the light that is filtering in through the windows of your shop, albeit it's struggling to find its way through all of the trinkets that you have stacked up against the walls, probably blocking out quite a bit of the windows. There's just the slightest imperceptible breeze blowing one page over, and as you groggily start to come to, you hear "Tao loves me so me smooth after and it continues and continues and continues.
Is there anything appearing on the page?
As this whispering emits from the book, there's almost a single flame that seems to outline the letters, or what you take to be letters, these runes, these symbols, almost as if it is tracing out what is being said, despite this already being charred into your book.
Lysander does not recognize these runes or symbols or recognize the words spoken, even from things he might have heard in the past or seen.
As you start to come to it, there is an itch at the back of your mind. You do not understand it, but you realize that these sounds familiar enough that you realize you have heard them before, coming from this book. You have seen you have seen symbols similar to what is now engraved on these pages, etched into these pages, charred into these pages. But it is not a language that you comprehend.
Can Lysander kind of trace with his finger these runes and symbols? And I want to make an Arcana check just to see if I recognize this magic and can actually place a memory as to where I might have heard or seen or experienced this magic before.
Sure. Make me an Arcana check.
16.
Claudia, have you done much traveling abroad to countries where they speak languages other than English?
Yeah. If my friends listen to this, they're going to kill me. I've been to Iceland, and I know a bit of German. So when they spoke Icelandic, I could kind of recognize because it is a Germanic language.
So this is something I have experienced while I've been traveling. Tell me if this is something that makes sense to you. When you travel and you listen to the language spoken there enough, at first it seems to just be strings of sound. And eventually your brain starts to make sense of paragraphs, and then starts to make sense of sentences, and then it starts to make sense of words. You might not know what those mean, but you can recognize, oh, this is how the language is chunked up.
Yeah.
You have a bit of a switch that comes to your mind with a 16 Arcana check here. And you have flashes come to you of large stones set in a circle and a dark ritual promising power, and scoffing at this perhaps a bit at first until you felt that power almost in a way you couldn't explain being offered to you, and then the electric feeling of this power surging into your body as you accepted that agreement. And as this memory starts to solidify itself into your brain, a memory that almost was hard to access before because of how quickly moments of import can pass without you really being able to fully take them in. Suddenly there's a 7-foot-tall Haragon that does a dive through your open window, a perfect tuck and roll, and springs up into the center of your shop, bow staff tucked neatly against him so as to avoid getting caught in the window as he dives through, and almost hits like a salute pose after like dismounting from the balance beam, kind of salutes as Rudy dives through your window.
Oh, my nefarious and evil deeds! Oh, 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 oh.
I'm gonna get you
Rudy,
one day,
it's
Lysander.
you.
I hope you understand that. I'm gonna get you one day. Anyways, we don't have time. CK's almost here and Felicity's almost here. Time for action. And I shut the window and lock it behind me. All right, so am I just like jumping from around a corner and like, you know, going for a grapple as they open the door? Or like do we have a plan here? They're almost here.
As Rudy says that, was the door locked last night?
That wasn't me. I can't lock it from outside.
As you say that, you hear the familiar now tinkle of a bell announcing that the door has opened and Felicity walks in.
I hate to say it, but I'm already tackling.
Do you want me to make a dexterity saving throw to dodge?
Yeah, make me a
What is that, roll to
dexterity
hit for
saving
me?
throw. D20, add your acrobatics, Rudy, and dexterity
I'm sorry.
saving throw from Felicity.
I'm so. Oh, dude, you're going down. I'm sorry. I just rolled a 19. That's a 26.
Oh, I rolled a dirty 20. Dang it.
Oh my god.
So Felicity, as you come in, still scratching away in your notebook, suddenly you are just like absolutely tackled by this Haragon.
Lysander is...
And you see her reach and grab her bread knife, and I'm going to try to stab.
No, please, not on my shot. Don't get rolled on my shot.
Roll me an attack roll with disadvantage since you're grappled.
So as you're doing that, the second that I see it's Felicity, I'm already regretting my action, but I'm already flying through the air, so there's no stopping it. The second like I touch Felicity, I'm kind of like not committed anymore. So
You're lucky. I rolled like a really good roll, and then I rolled an 11. I'm pretty sure I don't hit you.
An 11 does not hit, does it, Evan?
no.
Brilliant. So Rudy, we hear tinkle of a bell, spring of a rabbit. As you are like flying, the time almost seems to like freeze. You lock eyes with Felicity for just a moment, who screams. You go, oh, crash into Felicity, do like a front handspring and tuck out of this dive and land back on your feet. Behind Felicity, who's now flat out on the ground, swings her butter knife at you. You feel the air like whoosh past you as you land, and again, gymnast salute as you land.
I'm gonna look down at Felicity. Hey, know your target before you attack. You know, that's rule number 1 of using a knife, and I'm going to immediately shut the door and lock it.
Felicity is going to get up slowly, looking at Rudy, and then you see her flip to a page in her book and go, "Assault of a civilian."
Okay, Felicity, no time to worry, no time to talk, time to get into action. Where are we putting Felicity?
Okay. Lysander is going to fly over. He takes off his cloak. He's going to fly over and literally pick up Felicity and fly her over to the gold.
Jimmy, take your headphones off. I will wave at you when you can come back.
Yeah!
All right. Lysander is going to fully pick up Felicity and fly her over to where, like, the alarm is, so she is out of harm's way but can still be helpful. Not asking for permission. Just, like, picking her up off the floor and bringing her over.
As you grab her, I am going to try to slap you, I will say, because she's tired of being bullied here. Does a 15 hit?
Damn it! It does hit.
You take exactly 1 point of bludgeoning damage as she reaches up and slaps you and goes, "Consent is important!"
Ow! Ow! Chill! And he's going to take her hat and throw it over throw it across the room and still pick her up and put her over by the alarm. Okay, so, Felicity, you're staying here, okay? Out of harm's way. Rudy, you've done enough damage. And Lysander's flying over to his desk and picking up his doohickey, his little shoehorn, and is like, the key is fully exposed, which gives us a lot of leverage. So, Rudy, I think if you hide behind the door, he takes a couple steps in thinking he's going for the gold, and then you can grapple him from behind. I'll fly up, place the shoehorn, and then maybe even Felicity joins me with that, and we press down.
Okay. A better idea. So, obviously we have an objective. That is something, we have a directive that CK is after. CK wants the gold. Are we just going to put out in the open as like a bait? So that way they can walk inside. As they walk inside, I tackle them to the ground. They face plant. We have access to the back. Turn that key and we're done.
Why don't we just, if we're worried about him getting the gold, why don't I just take it and put it somewhere else and he still thinks it's where you hid it before?
Better idea. Felicity, you stand here and hold the gold. And then you can run if you need to.
What if he uses his little thing he did before where he marked Lysander as a criminal?
Don't worry, he'll already be tackled to the ground. I'm on it.
We just need to move fast. That's the most important thing.
Felicity is going to sigh and go, oh, why are we turning his key?
If we remove the key from CK's back, they should stop moving. That way we can either talk to them, figure out what's going on. There's something locked away, I know it.
I thought he was coming back. Sorry, not the time for questions. She'll say as she like looks at you both confused and is like, if this will help with the case, I can stand there holding some gold. I don't think I should hold all of it in case he decides to mark me as a criminal and I can't get away.
Oh, that's true.
What if we all hold a little bit of gold and then keep the rest back in the original hiding spot?
I've got an even better idea. And Lysander takes out his wand and kind of swishes it. And he is going to...
I was going to go, can you hide things? Like the vision of things? Well, because what would help Rudy taking down CK is... And she will reach into her bag and pull out, technically, ball bearings, but a giant jar full of marbles. And go, what if we just made him slip?
That would be as cool.
I don't know if I can turn things invisible.
Do you have, like, minor illusion or, like...
I have prestidigitation.
You know, maybe we don't even need it. Maybe he thinks he can just walk on marbles.
Yeah. I don't think... Yeah, I can't do anything with... You know what I could do? Okay, so the marbles in the jar. Lysander takes his wand and prestidigitates... Okay, for listeners, I don't know how to say the spell.
Prestidigitation.
I don't know how to say it. So he's going to use prestidigitation and make coins appear in all of our hands. And then he's going to cast it again and create a little bit of some mist that covers the floor that the marbles could hide underneath.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I believe you can only have one effect of prestidigitation active at a time.
3.
You can have three active at a time?
You can have, if you cast a spell multiple times, you can have up to 3 of its non-instantaneous effects active at a time, and you can dismiss such an effect as an action. Duration up to an hour.
Wow.
I could also, I guess, use Druidcraft for that, but yeah, eat my boot, DM.
I will never not own up to me being wrong about a rule, especially if you can read it to me. Fair game.
I just make things up and cast whatever I want, and then you guys can tell me yes or no. Usually it's Mikey.
I'm sorry.
So
I love spells.
Lysander goes ahead and creates those gold trinkets and then casts a little bit of smoke over so that Felicity can spread out the marbles.
So as CK walks in, they are going to see the three of you, I presume, standing in an arc, like a la the Guardians of the Galaxy with the Power Stone, holding this gold in your hands, and this ominous smoke just rolling over the floors of the shop. Am I understanding this mental image correctly?
Rudy is waiting behind the door to pounce still.
Correct.
So just the two of you, just Felicity and Lysander.
Yes, and I'm holding on to Felicity so that way I can fly Felicity up and then use her strength too as leverage.
So we have Rudy behind the door, Felicity standing in front of the door, fistfuls of illusory gold, Lysander behind Felicity, also holding gold, but like in a prepared stance to take off, probably looking as if about to sacrifice Felicity because of the smoke, the fog, and the positioning and all of this. And with fog rolling across the floor. Am I understanding
I would say that's
correctly?
completely accurate.
Incredible.
I'd say that's really
Felicity
accurate.
will turn and go, listen, if we're just trying to pry the key out, put the stick in, lift me up as high as you can, drop me.
Ooh, Lysander likes that idea.
I'm not strong, but I do weigh a decent amount.
I
Drop
need
me.
all three of you to roll me a deception check, please. with advantage.
With advantage. Oh, best day ever.
You're...
I am so sorry for you all.
19.
I have +5, y'all.
19.
18.
19, 18.
9. Felicity
Plus
has a
9.
-1 to deception.
Divided by 3. Okay.
She's not meant to do this kind of stuff.
CK, you arrive at Lysander's shop, and the door is shut.
I sent my drone to check at the perimeter and check out for the window that Rudy jumped through earlier.
Perimeter, look at the window. Your drone circles the building, and all of the windows are currently shut and locked.
I go up to the front door and I kind of do I knock on the door saying, CK373, please open up.
As CK knocks on the door and the rest of the party braces themselves inside of Lysander's shop, we are going to end today's session. Performance Check is an original Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. All characters, settings, and situations in this story are completely fictional. The cast of Performance Check consists of Michael Saliski as Felicity, Claudia Cromley as Lysander, Jimmy Lancaster as CK373, and Evan Marshall as Rudy. The game is DM'd by Ethan Mann.